Alright, hello everybody, welcome to IA Command. This is TVboy, and we're going to be going over another game log review. This time it's going to be from a top 8 game played by myself against the wonderful player Blaide. Um, so I was going to be doing some more top 4 games from the 1022 tournament, but still waiting for those game logs to come in from the players. So while we're waiting for that, I figured let's cover the top 8 games because we did have, again, the 18 player Fall Vassal League went for 5 weeks, and then we did a cut to top 8 with a 8 player single elimination tournament, and I was actually in the top 8. I made it to the top 8 with a 4-1 record after 5 weeks, as did Blaide. And so we got paired up in the top 8, and this is going to be our match. So for the league, you could play whatever list you wanted to each week, and you can change it up. But once you got to the top 8 tournament, you had to lock in your list. So this is the list I chose. It did really well for me for 3 out of the 5 weeks that I played it. It's double Sabs with Rebel Care Package, so Gideon, 3PO, R2D2, and then Kotun as my other attacker with Mern and Saw Gerrera. And then I have Targeting Computer on both my Sabs and Heavy Fire to round out the list and give me some extra damage with them. And I will mention that I did totally steal this idea from Kyle Bossum, who played this list slightly different. He had a Balance of the Force instead of the second Targeting Computer, but I made some alterations based on my playtesting with the list to make it more match my style the way I thought it should be played, or that works better for me, including some changes to the command deck. Anyway, I think I've talked about this list already in my Swiss rounds. So we're playing against Blaide, and oops, I have the wrong list down in his hand. Let's get that fixed. So Blaide is playing Jedi Luke, which is kind of a figure that he has been playing a lot this season. He is playing not with Zeb and I forget who he was playing with before, but he's playing now with Echo-based troopers, 2 groups of that, and an ATRT, which you can see up on your screen. I think we had another game a little while back where ATRT versus Zuckus. You can check that out, but this time we're seeing it in more of a natural use with the Echo-based troopers. Although interesting pairing with Jedi Luke, kind of harkens back to the olden days of Jedi Luke being paired with like Alliance Rangers when he first came out. But anyway, he's also got Rebel Care Package, R2D2 3PO, and getting Argus, as well as the 0 point attachment for Luke, which is Heir to the Jedi. And in this case, just gives Jedi Luke a reroll, much like Targeting Computer does. But has definitely helped out Jedi Luke, it seems, in this season. So let's get right into it. I played this. I think we played this game like 2 weeks ago. It's been quite a while actually, so just haven't really had time to cast. But I have initiative, so I took the top deployment zone, which I've mentioned in the past. I feel is the stronger deployment zone on this map. We're playing Lost and Found, so that's the Control the Stashes mission. So you can see we've got 6 stashes here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, or 2 VPs each. So there's quite a few. I think Blaide definitely has the more aggressive list, so I'm worried. I do have to worry about him taking too many VPs. I'm also kind of worried about how his list doesn't really rely on any kind of synergies from being next to other figures. His figures are pretty independent, so I'm worried that I'm not going to get too many opportunities to blast. But we'll definitely see that. Let's see. There we go. Don't want that to be too loud. All right, so let's get into the gameplay here. I'll scooch this over. Alright, so shuffling and drawing. And I'm gonna kind of watch this like it's a new game. I think that'll be more fun. So I don't know what's in my hand. But I do have to activate first. My list has 8 activations. To Blaide, who has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 activations. And since I have initiative. So I'm actually activating Gideon first. The interesting thing about the blue deployment zone, even though it is superior, It is 4 spaces away from the terminal, so R2D2 does need a little bit of help, and it's a reason why you should pretty much always have either Gideon or Hera in your rebel list if you're running R2D2 when this map is in rotation, or any map that's where the one of the deployment zones is 4 spaces away from the terminal. Otherwise, you might not be able to draw on the first turn with R2, which is pretty devastating. All right, so it looks like, let's see. So Blaide now unable to pass after I activate Gideon, so activates 3PO. Gonna focus up Jedi Luke, and now I am going to activate R2 to draw a card, and activating Gideon for Blaide, pushing up one of his Echo Base troopers 2 spaces. Also, I think I forgot to do. Oh no, Kotun did give out a surge token to my blue saboteur. And now Mern activating, hiding my 2 yellows. R2 going to go ahead and draw a card for Blaide. 3PO going to focus one of my blues. So I do tend to focus up the saboteurs I have at the front of my lines, and then I'll usually give hidden to the ones in the back because the ones in the front are more likely to be able to attack earlier. We got the Echo Base Troopers moving to the different flanks. We got one controlling the stash on the right and one hiding over by the booth. Saw Guerrera gonna activate. Gonna go and take out control of the stash. Saw, so interestingly enough, Saw has kind of been probably my least valuable figure in my game so far. At least leading up to this game. That is not. I'm gonna say that was not true for my top 8 game. I think he actually did come into play, but I have become pretty cavalier with my Saw, just kind of using him to control objectives. All right, so Luke activating. Let's move this back out of the way, and just gonna hang out by 3PO behind that column. So not being aggressive with Luke at all, and I think that to me that means that Blaide is biding his time. And so you know what? I think I remember I did have take initiative in my hand. So this play with Luke, just keeping him back like this tells me that Blaide's hand is probably not that great. So I think in my head, okay, I've got take initiative. Um, so moving Kotun, pretty aggressive with Kotun there. I think in the future against the Luke list and an Echo Base list, I would not be so aggressive with positioning my figures so far forward. Okay, so we've got the ATRT, moves over, tramples over R2, pushes him out of the way, and he's right by the booth there. So now in my head, okay, if Luke is not moving up, then maybe he doesn't have a good hand. I have take initiative. If I can get myself into a position where I can stun this ATRT at the start of round 2, like that would be so good for me because a stunned ATRT, unless they have Heart of Freedom, is in a really bad spot. So I go ahead and activate my yellows here. Gonna move one and both over to Kotun. Um, which is not the greatest because they don't have power tokens on them. My ones with power tokens are the blue ones. And now last activation for Blaide. Gonna move one of his echoes over to the right stash and then the other one to cover the 2 in the middle. So taking the bulk of the stashes here, 4 of the 6. And again, I have to balance my positioning where I'm not giving up too many VPs, but I'm not overextending against a list that is really good in close combat, which is the Echo Bases are quite good. So now you can see my gambit here. Moving the blue all the way over to control the stash on the far left and in a position where he can step out 1 space and be able to draw line of sight to the ATRT there, and would actually be out of line of sight for the ATRT, I believe. I believe I remember that me doing that correctly. Yeah, because I think because my other thought process is, oh no, he would be able to see. I don't think I can see. Yeah, I can't see him from there. So, but if I moved up to here, oops, that's interesting. Oh, does that do that? Anyway, sorry. So if I move here and attack the ATRT, the ATRT cannot see back to this spot, so I'd be safe. And so the thing I'm hoping for here is number one, he doesn't have negation, and number two, doesn't have Call the Vanguard. Because if he has Call the Vanguard, he's just gonna move his focused ATRT up and crush my 7 health white dice Saboteur. And of course, if he has negation to stop take initiative, same thing happens. He'll get to activate before me since he's getting initiative next round. But you know, these sabs are only 3 points, so if I lose a sab early, it's not the end of the world. But I think I was definitely praying no negation, no Call the Vanguard. So I gain 4 VPs. Blaide gains 8. Again, playing from a deficit here. Let's see. So now we do the doors. So Blaide has to choose first since it's reverse order initiative, and he does go ahead and open the door to his ATRT for me, which, in hindsight, not a good sign. But at this point in the game, like I don't have any way to undo this risk I've taken. So now I have to decide between letting his right side echo come in or opening up the door to the middle. I think I opened the middle door. Yep, and that makes the most sense. It gives me plenty of opportunities to attack him in the middle with my yellow sabs and my blue sab, with while denying his access to my terminal. So initiative goes over to Blaide, and no end around for me. And oof, there's the Call of Vanguard, unfortunately. And gonna come up and take a shot at this. My focus tokened up Echo Base with concentrated fire. Fantastic play here. I did not even think about that B1 having line of sight. So this B1 here is drawing line of sight to my sab, and so that's what's allowing him to play concentrated fire. Let's throw up the ATRT back up there. So here's the big attack. So this is just, honestly, I think this is overkill, but I think he was trying to make sure that he got the kill. Although with, well, I don't want to spoil it, but based on his hand, I think he should have known he was going to be able to activate again safely. That is a dead Saboteur, so 3 points to Blaide, and unfortunately my idea of trying to stymie the ATRT before it could move did not pay off. So here I try to play my take initiative, and he does have the negation. So the double whammy of the two things I did not want him to have, he had. So unfortunately he is going to get to activate first here, so he's going to go ahead and activate that ATRT. Moves up, takes a shot. Gonna swap dice with the frontline ability. And I was really hoping for a dodge at that last one, right? And I actually get it here though, which is not terrible. I mean, I don't think he would have gotten the kill here because it's just Pierce, so he would have been too short of kill anyway. But I think it actually did end up mattering later in the game. But I did get a dodge there, so that was good. So now I have to readjust my strategy and think, what am I going to do? What do I do? I know what I eventually end up doing, but I'm not sure. I think I stun this B1 here. Oh, the B1's already stunned, so unfortunately. So I'm checking line of sight. He can attack 3PO, and that's about it from that position. If he has to spend an action to remove stun. So I figure, well, let's just get 3PO out of the way then. Out of line of sight, move over, focus up Kotun. And a focus Kotun is a scary Kotun. I believe I have Wild Attack in my hand. So this part's sad. So now he uses Gideon to move the ATRT way back behind the wall where it's much harder to see him. So good move. Did that before I could stun him. So now I activate my Rebel Sab. So I think here is where I see and I have an idea where I can control this stash and possibly get a kill here before R2 activates. So I believe I have collateral damage in my hand and like a couple other cards. I think Blitz maybe. So yeah, do still have line of sight. Important thing for Sabs when you're attacking a large figure, anything that has blast really, is the blast only affects the figures adjacent to the target space, not to the entire figure. So here I am deciding I want to try and kill R2 without having to actually attack it. Again, using my blast. The blast is the strongest part of my list. So I spend my surge power token here. I am attacking the lower left corner of the AT-RT. So it's a range 4 shot, and we'll throw the sabs up here for you guys. Slightly altered from their FFG version, which in turn was, remember, was nerfed by FFG. But we did return them to their former glory of Blast 2, Surge for Blast 2, 5 speed, and then gave them a little bit extra with +1 health and +1 to their accuracy. So they have +4 accuracy total. Alright, enough about that. Let's get to the dice rolls here. And we got a good one. 3 surges. Love to see that. He got a triple block. Let's see if I had mods. So no, not doing any rerolls. And this was kind of hard because what did I have? I must have had like heavy ordnance in my hand because I'm trying to make sure I don't get blown out by like something like parry or something. But there's nothing that ATRT can play like that. Because right now I'm doing 1 damage through the blocks if I don't use any of my surges on Pierce, and I don't want to. I need to do Blast 4, and I want to stun the ATRT. So I take the risk, no mods. I'm pretty sure he doesn't have anything. So Blast 4 and stun. And I think this is where Saw actually comes in. And then importantly, from where the ATRT is, it cannot see my Saboteur. It actually can't draw a line of sight to the top left corner of my Saboteur from there. So exhausting heavy fire here, that lets me do 1 damage to the ATRT and 1 damage to R2. So R2 now has 5 damage on him and 6 health total. And now I go ahead and use Saw Gerrera here, discarding heavy ordnance. So I did have heavy ordnance in my hand to do 1 damage to R2 and 1 damage to the Echo Base Trooper. So again, where is my Saw? So like I said, Saw's ability actually did come into play here and allowed me to get the kill on R2 there before he could activate and draw a card for Blaide. So that was pretty good. So pretty happy with that. I mean, it's not one of his big attackers, and that's the big thing, right? He's got such beefy attackers. He's got 4 Echo Base Troopers I have to deal with, and ATRT, and Luke who has 16 health. So it didn't feel amazing getting the kill on R2 there, but at least it was something where I could stop his card flow, reduce his activation, and at least exchange some VPs. And I'm not in a bad position here either with this Saboteur, since he's pretty hidden from Blaide's figures. Alright, so now it is Blaide's turn, who's going to pass since he is down on activation after losing R2 there. I go ahead and activate my R2 to draw a card. Pretty nice that I'm feeling pretty safe. I can just use my activations to gas up, focus up my figures, and kind of get ready. But I do decide to go with Kotun before that Echo Base can activate. And I think this is where I play yep, there's the wild attack. So that's going to add a red die to my attack pool. It adds a white die to the target's defense pool. However, since I give Kotun a power token with her ability at the start of her activation, I then spend it. I am now have Dead Precise active, which is going to take away or apply -1 block to the defense. So I don't have to worry about dodges in this situation. So now I've got +1 block, focus, and an extra red die against an extra white die with no dodge on it. Which is one of the strongest, really one of the strongest plays you can make with Kotun. And I think the only thing else you could do is Concentrated Fire, but I don't play that in this list since I don't have any other troopers. So we got 3, 4, 5 damage with the token, 3 surges. But she does have a reroll, and she actually can reroll 2 dice. I'm just going to go ahead and reroll that blue. Nice, perfect. I get exactly what I want. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 damage showing. I think it's the perfect roll almost. And that is a dead Echo Base in 1 shot with Kotun, who then moves back into cover behind these Saboteurs. Alright, Echo Base is going to activate here. And now Blaide does something interesting. He activates the remaining B group of Echo Base troopers, and he moves it back to the stash, but it's adjacent to his unactivated Echo Base trooper. So this one, I think I took a long time here to think about this. I think I went to activate Gideon. Saw trigger to give a weekend to the Echo Base, our Echo Base trooper there. So I spent a long time thinking about this because now he's got, again, Saboteur player. I'm just always thinking about where are, and there's a double focus on the Sab, should be hidden. Where are my opportunities to utilize their insane blast in combination with Saw's ability and heavy fire and all the cards in my deck that do area of effect damage. So I was gonna go with Gideon, and then I realized I've got some movement points cards in my hand. Yellow group can actually get to a spot where it can see this Echo Base Trooper pair, and if I use the other movement card in my hand, the other yellow one can get there as well. But if I wait to activate them, he's probably going to activate the Echo Base Troopers and move it away so it's no longer adjacent. So I need to act now. So I realize that the iron's hot right now and I need to strike. So this is where I realize the R Echo Base Trooper has not activated yet, as I asked Blaide to confirm. And I decide, okay, I'm not going to activate Gideon actually, so I unfocus here, and I think about it a couple times. Should I activate Gideon and move it? I'm not sure. And I realize, no, I've got to go now. So I activate the yellow Sabs. I think this one, yeah, this is the one that could get there naturally. And I had to choose here between which one to attack. I could attack either one because I have priority target on my saboteurs again. Um, but I have to think about where my other one's going to attack from. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one moved 5. Yeah. So I'm going to attack the closer one, knowing that I'm probably going to want to attack that same one when I come up with the other one, who's going to be further away from both of these Echo Base Troopers. So attacking with hidden, no focus, unfortunately. But I believe I have. You know what? I can just look at what's in my hand. So I have positioning advantage, urgency, negation, and collateral damage. So no overwhelming impact, but that's fine. Switch back to player 3, and now I do have a reroll, but I'm not going to use it because I got 3 surges, so I'm very happy with that. And so doing 3 damage, going to be able to blast 4. And now the other one activating. Going to use urgency to be able to get up close enough. Trying to decide where to go. So I decide to go closer actually. And now I attack the further one. And I actually had to think about this quite a bit as well because, I mean, obviously if I attack the closer one, I can do Blast 4 and kill it. But I can also do Blast 4 and discard a card or use collateral damage. So it makes more sense actually to attack the one with less health because I can do so much damage via Blast. But I get a pretty bad roll here, but I do have the reroll, and I get a fantastic reroll. So very happy with how my rerolls have been going. So now I have 3 surges, which is fantastic. So now I'm doing 2 damage to the target. And what do I do here? I have positioning advantage in my hand. I think it took me a while to figure out how to get this kill, but there was a way to do it. So I play the positioning advantage. I think I ended up having to use Pierce. Well, I do have Pierce anyway. So I'm actually doing 3 damage, Pierce 2, Blast 4. Sorry, I'm talking a little bit too much. So 3 damage with positioning advantage turns into 4 damage. That's a kill. I have Blast 4, and I double checked here that Saw is not once per round on his Wanton Destruction. So I'm going to be using that to pick up another kill on the Echo Base. So managed to kill 2 Echo Base troopers with 2 saboteur attacks, hidden saboteurs. Very happy. I actually just used collateral damage here. Oh, he's discarding for Saw. So I played this. Oh, okay. I played collateral damage. Because I'm doing Blast 4. Oh, you know what, guys? I'm sorry. I had to do Pierce 4 because the Echo Base troopers, they have an ability that basically is an always on Zillow technique. So Pierce 2 wouldn't have done anything. So that's what was happening. So I had to do Pierce 4, which means I only got Blast 2 on this 3 damage adjacent one. So I did 4 damage to the target, killed it. Blast 2, so that puts it at 5 damage with 3 health remaining. Then I played collateral damage to do 2 more damage, bring it down to 1 health. And then I discarded my last card in hand, which was Negation, First Saw's Wanton Destruction to deal the last 1 damage to it. So basically had to empty my hand there. Urgency, Positioning Advantage, and then discarded Negation to get that. But yeah, very happy. Double kill thanks to the Blast and collateral damage and Saw. So that's a second kill from Saw Gerrera. So that was great. And now I'm feeling pretty good. Because really, you need to kill these echoes efficiently if you want to beat this kind of list. I've played against these type of lists a lot, especially in other games like X-Wing. You have these, and their whole point is to just overwhelm you with like really efficient health, and you have to kill them quickly and efficiently so they don't overwhelm you with their pretty beefy attacks as well. But unfortunately, that does leave my Saboteur right there for Luke to attack him. But again, 3-point figure, I'm not super worried. And I get a dodge again. This one is a pretty lucky dodge. That would have probably killed him. Actually, I think not, unless he re-rolled. He could have re-rolled into the kill there, but um, no damage. And now we are back to me. Gideon going to focus up Kotun and move down next to 3PO. 3PO activating for Blaide. Going to move over next to Luke and focus him back up. Saw gonna hang out next to the stash, and Mern gonna actually go and control the middle. So now I have managed to take back control of the board with a lot of Blaide's Echo Base troopers removed. Especially after that kind of devastating gambit going into the start of round 2, I'm feeling pretty good in this position. But he is able to contest. He does have that last Echo Base trooper, although I realize I double activated here. So I think, does that change anything? Not really. It just, he ends up going with the Echo Base and I go with Mern. So we're both contesting in the middle. I'm controlling the stashes on the left. Blaide does have the one stash on the right, so it's going to be 4 VPs to me, 2 to him. So I'm at 23 to his 13. The remaining doors open, going in around 3. Now I have initiative. He does have take, and I don't have anything to stop it, since my negation got discarded for dealing that 1 damage with Saw. Alright, so he's going to get to... he'll be activating first. Exhausting Gideon here. Gonna activate with Luke. Gonna go after the far left yellow. And playing Element Surprise so he doesn't have to deal with those dodges this time. And he does get the one-shot kill with the focus, not even needing that reroll. And now with Heroic, he's able to attack again, and we'll put Luke up here too. Luke has needed just gradual buffs. I think this is his 3rd time getting a buff in IACP Jedi Luke, and I think he is at the right spot now, where he is like top tier but not broken. So we've got an attack here, doing 6 damage. So it doesn't quite get the kill this time. I asked him about this after the game, why he didn't reroll, and he said wouldn't have been able to get it anyway, but I feel like if he re-rolled the green there, I could have actually gotten possibly to 7. So now I have a tough choice with my yellow Saboteur, who's at 1 health remaining. Do I risk him having Parting Blow and move away to get out of line of sight before I attack him? Because Luke does have that deflection ability. Or do I just attack him to make sure I can attack, but die in the process? Right? Because if I move away before I attack, I might die without getting to an attack because of Parting Blow. But if I attack without moving, then I'll just die to deflection. So I look at his list. He's only got Luke as his only brawler, so I just decide, you know what, I'm going to chance it. Make sure he doesn't have. See if he has Parting Blow. He does not. So I'm able to get behind this wall and make an attack on Luke. And I do want to stun him here because I'm assuming he has probably drawn the Son of Skywalker at this point. He's got the evade, so I re-roll. He still has double evades here, but I have Lock On, which I use to remove one of those evades. So again, the reroll coming in handy there, allowing me to get over that double surge cancel from Luke and able to get the stun on him. He can still deflect. I think he has line of sight to my Saboteur. Yep. So he sends 1 damage all the way down to the Saboteur down here with deflect, because he doesn't have to send it back to the attacker. So now Blaide activating 3PO. Gonna refocus Luke. Alright, activating my Saboteur, who is stunned and bleeding from heavy fire. Gonna play Heart of Freedom here. Removes the damage. So I think I actually did this incorrectly. Yeah, I did that wrong. So he should have just healed 1 damage, but I end up healing 2 later, but I don't know if it matters. But anyway, able to move over. I'm still bleeding, so I'm taking damage or strain as damage from the bleeding. Go ahead and going to attack the Echo Base Trooper here in the middle, hoping to stun it to make its life a little difficult. So 1 damage and stun. And this is where we realize we have 10 minutes, so I'm trying to play as fast as possible because I do want to give Blaide another round here to try and catch up. I don't like playing slow leading to my opponents losing because of timeout. So I do try to play fast once we realize we are running out of time. So here I forgot the recovery. Oh, I did do it right. I only removed the 1 damage, so good for me. Right, so Blaide activating his ATRT, playing Heart of Freedom to get rid of that stun from the previous round. And it's so crazy to have just when you have a figure that's stunned and you're like, you think you know where it can go, but then it plays Heart of Freedom or one of the equivalent faction cards. Not only is it no longer stunned, it also has 2 more movement points than it normally would have. So it's just such a huge jump in mobility when you think about it. Anyway, though, he is focused. He's going to take a focused attack on Kotun, and he makes the decision to replace the blue die with a red. Does get the accuracy though. He's going to re-roll thanks to the ATST or ATRT's run and gun ability since he moves so many spaces. And it's going to do 7 damage to Kotun, who has 11 health total. And yep, initiative did go to Blaide because of the take initiative card he played. And he's down to just his Echo Base Trooper in the middle that's stunned. So here I decide I can either go for the ATRT or try to kill Luke. And killing Luke makes most sense since I have a focus Kotun that ignores dodges. So Gideon going to... oh no, 3PO activating, going to focus my yellow Saboteur. Okay, Echo Base Trooper attacking Mern, who has 9 health. Gonna swap out the blue die for the red die with Frontline. Here you can see the echoes in IACP. Doing 3 damage to Mern. And I draw a card with R2. So I would have won on time here. I think Blaide thought we were out of time. Oh, Mern is activating here. Excuse me. So attacking Luke for no damage, but I do take a damage from deflect. Okay, here we go. So I did have Kotun. So we're still in this round. Hasn't gone to the round yet. So Kotun going to make the big attack on Luke. Focused attack with the power token. And he just rolls no blocks. And I re-roll into get rid of that extra surge. Another great re-roll. I think the re-rolls have been fantastic for me in this game. So I actually end up doing 8 damage to Luke. So he goes to 11 damage out of 16. Deflects one back at Kotun. I activate Gideon, refocus Kotun. And I think, oh, Saw is attacking the ATRT here. Oh, is it Saw? Oh, this is Gideon attacking. Excuse me, Gideon is hidden. For 1 damage on the ATRT. And now Saw is going to attack the ATRT. And we'll go back to Saw. So 2 damage. I'm going to rehide and back to the stash. So I've got 2 VPs from stashes coming in. The rest are contested. Oh, 1 damage. Sorry, 1 damage to the ATRT. So yeah, here we go. So I think what happened was Blaide didn't realize or didn't account that we took a 2-minute break and didn't add it. So I tell him, no, we did it. We made it to the next round. So one more round here for Blaide to try and catch up. I go to 25 over his 16. Go through end of rounds. And here we go. Coach is going to come out and attack from the left side past the ATRT into Luke, who has 5 health left. Again, focused with power token. She's definitely a big part of this list, being able to help push through big damage on some of these figures. She's kind of like Aiden, interestingly enough, in the Empire faction. Gonna reroll here. And 5 damage goes through, and that is a dead Luke, putting me at 35 to 16. And I think we call it here. Yeah. So there's the GG. So thanks again, Blaide, for playing. That was an awesome top 8 game. I quite enjoyed it, actually. And I mean, even being behind in the beginning, it was definitely challenging. I think Blaide played very well. So thanks everybody for watching. That's the top 8 game. We'll be doing more top 8 matches from the league, as well as top 4 matches from the tournament once I get those game logs from people. Alright, see you later.